I have not recorded that. It's gone. I think I repeat these words since my other one, YouTube, has not recorded. The Vedanta has become an excuse to ignore the propriety in Vyavahara. Auchityam. I don't know what to say in English. Auchityam. Hindus are losing the auchityam in Vyavahara. Auchityam means the propriety, the properness. The properness in Vyavahara. More they study Vedanta, more they are losing auchityam in Vyavahara. More and more. It is looking so disgusting. Is Vedanta removing adhyasa, or is Vedanta is giving adhyasa to them? Vedanta is not giving adhyasa to them. Vedanta is giving adhyasa to them rather than removing it. Oh, it is becoming day by day disgusting to see that more Vedanta, more they get destroyed. Hindus know how to destroy themselves with the help of Vedanta. Hindus know themselves how to destroy themselves with Vedanta, because it is a perfect tool in their hands. How to deny all viveka, all wisdom, all sense of proportion. Just now, I was reading Akhandananda Swamiji's one sentence about Lord Krishna. Bhagavata talks these days I am not telecasting at all. Because I am feeling disgusted with the fellows, with my local audience here in the temple. I found you talk to anybody, everybody, more you say, more they will destroy. Any more I say, more they will abuse what I say and then do exactly what I say. I don't know, is it any meaningful to speak to people? I'm getting frustrated day by day. More I speak, more they behave nonsensical. In Krishna says, Akhandananda Swamiji I was reading, हम तो कोई समदर्शी है भले ही, हम तो यथा योग्य आचरण करते हैं. See, Krishna goes to Hastinapura to meet Pandavas, and there he loves Krishna, he loves Arjuna, for Yudhishthira he touches his feet and does namaskara. By touching his feet of Yudhishthira, he does namaskara to Dharmaraya. Arjuna he hugs, Draupadi he blesses. And you see how with different people he behaves differently. Then now you know, with this Akhandananda Swamiji, our Guruji, comments there, Krishna says that I am not a man of equality. Okay? I am not here of a man of equal vision, equanimity. Samadarshi nahi hai. Samadarshi, one who looks upon everything as same. Ye to yatha yogya आचरण करने वाला है. I found instantly, Abba, this one Mahavakya whole Hindu idiots need. I am also an idiot only. So we Hindu idiots need this statement. हम तो समदर्शी है भले ही, हम तो यथा योग्य आचरण करते हैं. You have to learn from Krishna. Krishna says, मैं समदर्शी नहीं हूँ, मैं तो यथा योग्य आचरण करता हूँ. Yatha yogyam acharana. That is what Hindus need very badly. More Vedanta, they are losing that yogyavada. Yogyatvam means the proportion they are losing, because it is bound to happen. See, in Vyavahara there is a multiplicity. There must be yatha yogyata. You can't have equality in multiplicity. Multiplicity means variety. Jagat means nanatvam. In the nanatvam Jagat, each vastu has its own quality, its own nature, its own power. See, all things are not same. Each one has its own unique nature, unique quality, unique utility. Utility means usefulness. So accordingly, we have to use the person or the object or the things according to the need. You have to use them. Equality comes only when you transcend the need, you become equal. Okay? At the Karma Yoga level, you transcend the need. In Jnana Yoga level, you transcend its very existence. So the equality comes only when you transcend its dependency. In Karma Yoga level, you don't become dependent. You become free from its dependency, then you see the things are equal. In Jnana Yoga, in Brahma Swarupam, when their existence itself ceases to be existence, they are apparent. They have no existence. Then there is equality. Equality is both in terms of utility and in terms of existence. Okay? In Karma Yoga level, when the usefulness is same, whether that or this, it is same. Because when the usefulness is, utility of the things is similar, then seeing them similar is okay. It is perfectly right. Or when they don't exist, when they don't matter anything, when they don't matter, as you wake up from dream, they don't matter because they don't exist. Then equality when they don't exist. Okay? But we Hindu fools see the multiplicity and then misbehave with them. This is a special quality of Hindus. Oh, perversion. More Vedanta, more we are losing common sense and becoming suicidal. Not only suicidal, torture. Terrible torture. More study Vedanta, more we invite tortures. More we strengthen asuras. More we invite the torture. This is utter foolishness of Hindus. Proportion we are losing. Proportion we lose. We think that ignoring the proportionate according to the context, according to the need, according to the situation. This proportionateness, becoming indiscriminate is called equality. Becoming indiscriminate. So this is the foolishness. Becoming indiscriminate, becoming irresponsible is called vairagyam. Becoming indiscriminate is called equality. All this is a perversion of Hindus. Even the Jnanis, Vedantins, Gurus are also talking foolishly. Because we refuse to see things as they are. Without seeing the things, we want to close our eyes. Closing eyes is not Vedanta. It is utter foolishness. It is an irresponsibility. You transcend the differences. Doesn't mean differences don't exist. See, transcend means, see, when you are dealing with differences, deal with them proportionately. When you deal with differences, deal with them according to the proportionately. In a due, by giving due importance, proportionately, by giving a proportionate importance. Okay, this is when you are dealing with the differences. When the differences become immaterial, the effect of all of them is same, then you can see the equality. Equality when their effect is same, when the differences don't count, or when the differences don't exist. Karma Yoga level, the differences don't count. They become immaterial. But in Jnana Yoga level, they don't exist. That is okay. Then the equality means at the Karma Yoga level and the Jnana Yoga level. But we see neither. We are all fools. Ignoring, closing eyes and inability to see them, inability to handle them is called Advaita. I think more I teach Vedanta, more people are losing their Viveka. That's why I felt really fed up. And for the last 2 to 3 days I am not doing any. Bhagavata class is continuing. In the class also I am not teaching, simply reading out the shlokas, that's all. Simply reading out the translation. I am not explaining anything. Because more you teach, more you remain stones only. I find, is there any purpose in teaching people? Because the bigger people, the problem with Hindus is, the gurus, the bigger people themselves are deluded fellows. Our Brahmagyani, deluded Brahmagyanis, they have propagated all their ignorance to us. They think their ignorance is Jnanam. They thought their ignorance is Jnanam, and they have propagated, they have imparted all their ignorance to us, and now anybody speaks, nobody is going to listen. Nobody is going to listen. I think they have prepared thoroughly ground that how Hinduism can be destroyed. I feel more than our enemies, our Brahmagyanis alone are the destroyers of Hinduism. More than our enemies. Because Brahmajnanam means siding with enemies. You know that? Equality means supporting the wicked fellows. Equality means supporting the wicked. You see the constitution, how it talks. Secularism means destroying the very open-minded people. Secularism means destroying the Hinduism which is really believes in openness and believes in freedom, believes in multiplicity. And secularism means destroying it. In Hinduism, everything means opposite. Anything means exactly opposite of what it is. And Hindus support that opposite, that nonsense. More knowledge means more talk nonsense. All religions are same. And one guru says, Jagat Guru, what is wrong if Tipu Sultan forcibly converted? And he says he is a great man, that he supported our Matha, our Pitha. Therefore, Tipu Sultan was a great man. He is following the order of God. I tell you, this is the kind of Brahmagyanis we have. This is the kind of Jagat Gurus, Brahmagyanis, Acharyas we have. That we losing the proportion is Brahmagyana. Okay? And he says, don't compare with others. What is this? Don't compare Hinduism with other religions. Take all religions are same. First important, don't compare. Don't study other religions. Praise them. This is the teaching we have been given. And we are getting this teaching. And the gurus say, do you think people will listen to my words? They consider me as a traitor, disobedient, ashraddhalu, shraddha bhakti illa, nastika, asura. They consider me as an asura. You criticize gurus? You have no shraddha bhakti in guru? What kind of devil you are? You disrespect our gurus and talk against their teaching? We should believe what our gurus told. Say that all religions are same. Tipu Sultan did a great thing by forcibly converting people. He is doing a blessing to them. If I oppose it, I become a villain. Okay? I think I am bound to be a villain. I am born to be a villain probably. Because people love to die. People love to get tortured. People love to get tortured. Support to the asuras. But if they support to the asuras and they consider me asura, why don't they support me? At least if they consider asura, that I want the people to be treated according to their worth. Don't treat everybody as same. All religions are not same according to their worth. Study their worth according to the worth. If you consider me asura, at least, and if with your Brahmajnanam, you want to give concession to asura, give me. Consider me asura and give me. importance to my words. Okay? I am surprised. I am shocked. I don't know what to do. Day by day I am getting frustrated. I am losing. I was a person born with a hardcore optimism. My optimism is giving way. My optimism is giving way. I think I am running out of my patience, running out of my optimism, seeing the hardcore, resisting, incorrigible Hindu mind. Terrible, terrible. We have lot of Divya Drishti, lot of rishis. Some people can produce things like that. One Baba can produce like this. One Avatara can predict the future, that it will come like that. But that Avatara who predicted future, that yogi who predicted future of India never predicted that Islam will dominate, Christianity will dominate, Hinduism will become weak, and Hindus should wake up to their religion. He never gave a single sentence of warning to Hinduism. He is worshipped greatly in Andhras. And I tell you, all what he talked is nothing but a trash. Not only trash, is a positively harmful pill for Hinduism. He only destroyed Hinduism. He only made the Hindus helpless. He disarmed all Hindus. He filled their mind with a lot of pessimism and glorify Islam and Christianity like Gandhiji did and Vivekananda did and all these people did. Same thing. Disarmed Hindus by praising enemies or by ignoring enemies. We only disarm Hindus. We are excellent in disarming Hindus. And we have got lot of positive hope, lot of positive goodwill for these villains, and lot of negativity about Hindus. Lot of goodwill for these enemies of Hindus who destroy Hinduism. You have to be very nice man, very sweet speaking to man. One fellow says, Jesus love is a Vedanti. He says, oh, what Vedanta says? Jesus love is the same. There is one idiotic Swami, he says like that. Another Swami says, there is an inner Jesus, meditate on it. Another idiot says like this. I think we have got, why do you say inner Jesus only? Why don't we say there is an inner Ravana in you, meditate on that? Why don't you say there is an inner Kamsa in you? There is an inner Duryodhana in you. Meditate on him. You will have a brilliant joy, peace of life. Immense peace that you meditate on inner Ravana. Okay? Meditate on inner Kamsa or inner Jarasandha. I am telling you, I don't feel like speaking. I feel like committing suicide. I tell you today I am really feeling. There is no point in living in this earth. And particularly among Hindus, idiots, gurus and sannyasis. I feel like committing suicide. If they all curse me, I will die. I am ready to die instantly. Don't want to live even one moment. If they are so angry with all these gurus, let them curse me. And I think I'll die. I don't want to see this nonsense. Nonsensical gurus with all their wisdom. They propagate lot of ignorance. They impose a lot of darkness on the light. Lot of ignorance on their Brahmajnana. In the name of Brahmajnana, they are propagating lot of ignorance. Terrible ignorance. Okay? Because they themselves are ignorant. They think ignorance is Brahmajnana. And they are subjecting us to terrible torture. Terrible torture. Culture is lost, Ayurveda is lost, our knowledges are lost, our lifestyle is lost, family system is lost, Varna Vyavastha is lost, Ashrama Vyavastha is lost, and still they talk of Brahman, 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 all religions are same. And then I think, how do they hope to restore all these things? Everything is lost. And Europeans are waiting, they want to learn Hinduism. And you deny them the Hindu knowledge and ask Hindus to treat Islam, Christianity as equal. Hindus are fed up, Europeans are fed up, they don't want again Islam and Christianity. They have seen, experienced, lived for centuries, they don't want Islam and Christianity. And our gurus push them back, go to Christianity, go to Islam. Go and practice Islam and Christianity. It is great. And he says, I know better what is Christianity. I am born and as Christian, and I know what my parents taught me, what my gurus and church taught me. I know what is Christianity. These Jagat Gurus tell them, go and live your Christianity only. It is like Ravana says that I have committed a big papa. And by kidnapping Sita, I committed a lot of papa. I want to do prayaschitta. Please take back Sita and forgive me or punish me or teach me properly. And Rama says, I am a Kali Yuga Guru. Go and take Sita back and put in Lanka and bring more Sitas like that and destroy. That is my advice to you. That is my teaching to you. You are doing right thing. That alone you should do. You should not think of anything else. I tell you, now you tell me, what am I to do? Should I continue and teach Vedanta? For whose sake? For whose sake should I teach Vedanta? Europeans don't want Christianity, Islam, because they understood it is nothing but barbarism. Nothing but barbarism. They are fed up. They gave up and they want to learn real religion. They saw it from a distance. They read few books. They saw the Hindus living it. Please teach us Hinduism. Take us as Hindus. Our gurus declare, no, never think of coming to Hinduism. Never expect me to be your guru. If you want me to be your guru, remain Christian. Never come to Hinduism. These people are Christian teachers, Islamic teachers. They are not Hindu gurus. In the cloak of Hindu gurus, they are teaching Islam and Christianity, nothing but destruction of Hinduism. Anything left out? If there are more deluded on the earth, it is our Hindu gurus that are deluded. It is our Hindu gurus who are more deluded. You are very angry with me. I don't know what to do. Refuse to open eyes. Therefore, it frustrates me. It frustrates me. If they remain quiet, okay. We just don't know. I just teach Hinduism and forget it. I don't know anything. You find, look after yourself. At least they are good people. But they talk of what they don't know. I think, is there more ignorant than our Hindu gurus? Is there more ignorant person on the earth than our Hindu gurus? They are propagating ignorance. Okay, I said certain things. Our topic a little bit, since there is a little 15 minutes time. Okay, we'll talk of some Sugama. I don't know whether it is useful to people. If Vedanta makes them more ignorant, fail to see the difference between good and bad, fails to see the proportion in Nama Rupa, impose all Vedanta into the worldly things and Vyavaharic things, I think Vedanta is the biggest poison for Hindus. Hindus know how to render everything into poison. Call poison as Amrita. What a wisdom Hindus have. There are different gurus. Some guru says, I won't read Bhagavad Gita. Indirectly, he is telling his followers not to read Bhagavad Gita. Most of our gurus are like that. See, what harm Bhagavad Gita has done to you? And he says, I don't want to be influenced by Bhagavad Gita, I want to be an independent thinker. Does Bhagavad Gita prevent your free thinking? Does Bhagavad Gita prevent you think freely? Or does it encourage a dogmatic thinking, accepting certain concepts, certain ideas blindly? Then why do you want to give an impression by talking about Gita like that? I think there are no more perverted people than our Hindu gurus, particularly these 20th century gurus. One Mataji lady says that clarity about Hinduism, Namaste Swamiji. One message I get. I find some people forgiving me, having so much of patience to listen to my harsh talk. Oh, I feel they are great people. They have so much of patience to listen to my harsh talk and take it in a proper sense. Oh, I feel really blessed. I am really blessed. Not I am joking. That there are some people open to listen to my words and think about what I am pointing out, and don't go blindly by people. God has given buddhi in us. Buddhau sharanamanvicha krupana phalahetavah. Buddhau sharanamanvicha. Our Akhandananda Swamiji would say, Bhagavad Gita to ek vilakshana grantha hai. He would speak in Hindi only, he didn't know English. The Bhagavad Gita ek unique grantha. You know, it teaches you buddhi, the viveka, I tell you again and again. It's not easy to get, but if you can do viveka, that is a great wisdom. That is God, that is Saraswati, that is Paramatma. You do viveka, that is Paramatma. Very impartially, very politely, very humbly, not this acting humility. Okay? See, consider everything. Without considering, don't call anything. Don't make any judgment about anything without considering. Consider everything. Consider everything. Without doing, without considering, without examining, this passing a judgment doesn't make you great. It doesn't befit your Brahma Jnanam, your avatara. I tell you, even avatara becomes a foolish one, like Parashurama did it. Parashurama was very angry and killed the kings and kings after kings after kings. I think 7 times he went around India. Some people say 21 times. Went around India and killed the people. And he thought he would continue in the same arrogance. And it is the Rama has to defeat him, humiliate him and send him out. Okay? Even Parashurama has to be controlled. Parashurama has to be subdued. By only Ramachandra could do it. But Ramachandra is a balanced. With good people he is humble and With good people he was humble, but with wicked people he was tough. I think that balance of Rama and Sri Krishna we have lost. We have reduced Rama and Krishna into another Buddha. Not even Buddha, worse than Buddha. We criticized Buddha as an avatara. We means our Pauranikas. But reduced in the 20th century our Krishna and Rama into worse than Buddha. It's very sad. What we require is examining everything and come to a very healthy, positive conclusion, impartial conclusion. Don't leave anything from examining, particularly Islam, Christianity, communism, modern Western civilization. Never leave out anything without examining. If you don't examine, you would not know what is good, what is bad. A thing is bad also, you would not know why it is bad. If you simply say it is bad and tomorrow you will accept it is good. If you don't examine and then judge. Before you judge, examine it thoroughly. Okay? And with all our Upanishads, with all our Shankar Bhashya, with all our Upanishads, with all Shankar Bhashya, with all such a great tradition of Viveka, we accept all religions are same. It is an insult to Shankar Bhashya. It is an insult to our Vedanta and Upanishads. We are insulting our own Shankar Bhashya, our own Upanishads, if we don't examine Islam and Christianity and accept blindly all religions are same. Oh, what a foolishness it is. It is not respect to Shankar Bhashya, calling all are same. Even Krishna did not say in the Bhagavad Gita. He told Samatva Buddhi. At the same time, throughout he has been criticizing, he is examining and discriminating between good and bad and right and wrong. The same thing Sri Krishna who told what is everything is same. Again he elaborately discussed with Samoguna, Rajoguna, Sattvaguna. What is Sattvika, what is Rajasa, what is Tamasa. And he told Asuri Sampada in the 6th chapter elaborately in Asura. And Asura don't tolerate. He asked Arjuna, therefore go and kill the fellows. Kill these Asura fellows. Kill this Duryodhana. And he says Samatva Buddhi. Again tells him, therefore kill Duryodhana. And have Samatva Buddhi. Therefore kill Duryodhana. Do you able to understand this? Samatva Buddhi doesn't mean embracing Duryodhana and then forgiving him. Samatva Buddhi doesn't mean killing Dharmaraya and embracing Karna. That is not Samatva Buddhi. Samatva Buddhi doesn't mean prostrating it and Duryodhana and killing Dharmaraya. That is not Samatva Buddhi. This is a perverted Vedanta. The very Krishna was teaching. Do Viveka. Whole Bhagavad Gita is teaching Viveka. We are peculiarly extraordinary people. We study all Shankara Bhashya and close our eyes to Purva Paksha. We refuse to do Purva Paksha. There are different trends. One is accepting Islam, Christianity as equal to Hinduism. Another trend is pushing Vedanta outside Hinduism. Yoga, Vedanta, call them non-Hindu. Yoga is not Hindu. Vedanta is not Hindu. Oh, then who is it? Vedanta is not Hindu. Yoga is not Hindu. In these things, they are insulting Hinduism. They are undermining Hinduism. They are underestimating Hinduism. They are misunderstanding, misrepresenting Hinduism by telling that Vedanta is not Hinduism. Vedanta is beyond Hinduism. All religions are narrow-minded. What is this? One person wrote such an essay and our magazine also published it continuously for 2 to 3 months. I told him, what is this? I asked the editor, acting editor, what is this? This is happening. That fellow is presenting against Vedanta. He humiliating us. That fellow himself is a Hindu. And he says that our Vedanta is not Hindu. That means Hinduism is narrow. That means he is narrow-minded. See, he is undermining, misrepresenting, hating himself, and self-hating fellows essays. And we are publishing those things in our magazine. Who hates his own Hinduism and misrepresents, not by properly understanding. If he finds faults with Hinduism, I can understand. I shall be very grateful to him if he finds faults with Hinduism. He doesn't find fault with Hinduism. He imposes fault on Hinduism. And he says Vedanta and yoga cannot afford to be Hindu, because Hinduism is so narrow-minded, so wrong, that Vedanta must be outside Hinduism. Yoga must be outside Hinduism, because Hinduism is incapable of adjusting, accommodating Vedanta and yoga within it. Are our gurus sane? Those who talk like this, are they sane people? Or there is a terrible inferiority complex in our gurus? I think foreign rule has gone. It has not gone outside, it has entered into our gurus. They have terrible inferiority complex. Terrible. The foreign rule has gone from India. I thought it is gone away. The slavery has gone out of India, but it has gone into our gurus, our Jagat gurus, our all-round gurus, international gurus. All our slavery, inferiority complex has entered deeply. The gulami, the kafirhood, the zimmihood. The zimmihood has entered into our gurus' minds. Lost our Shankara Bhashyas, the spirit of Shankara Bhashya we have lost. Our gurus need urgently to get rid of their inferiority complex. First, let them learn. Don't put Vedanta outside Hinduism. Don't put yoga outside Hinduism. Don't underrate Hinduism. If you underrate, that is your inferiority complex. That is your gulami. Don't teach your gulami to us. You learn our freedom from us. We are ordinary Hindus. Learn from ordinary Hindus. Don't teach your gulami, your inferiority complex to us. Okay? We request our gurus. There is a lot our gurus can learn from our disciples. Our gurus can learn a lot from we disciples. Okay? First, let our gurus give up our inferiority complex, their gulamihood, their closed mind, their irresponsibility, their indiscrimination. Let them give up. Okay? Don't impose Vedanta. They impose Vedanta on Islam and Christianity and condemn Hinduism. Are they Hindu gurus? Let them give up their inferiority complex. They are all pushing, they are all pulling out Vedanta, yoga and bhakti outside Hinduism and make Hinduism look so narrow and pervert. Oh my God. See what our gurus are doing. Generally, you see the people criticizing others. I am a peculiar fellow. I criticize our gurus only. Okay? You find all our people criticizing Shishyas. and I am a peculiar person, I am a peculiar Shishya. I criticize my gurus only. Okay. You have got, you heard all gurus teaching, criticizing Shishyas and teaching them, admonishing them, advising them to learn. And I admonish my gurus only. I being a Shishya, I am a peculiar Shishya. First, let them give up their inferiority complex. Let them learn the Purvapaksha method. Purvapaksha method. Observe, examine the Purvapakshas, and do Gunadosha Vichakshana, Gunadosha Viveka. Let us do Viveka. Losing Viveka is no greatness. Okay. I think it is enough for today. Today I found that there is nothing to speak, because see all around. I started with this one thing, which I read it in Akhandananda Swamiji's words. मैं समदर्शी नहीं, यथा योग्य व्यवहार करने वाला, यथा योग्य बर्ताव करने वाला. I behave according to the context, according to the need, according to the proportion. Proportionate behavior, not the equal behavior. How much Islam and Christianity is influencing indirectly. Diksha Tagondavaru, Christianity Diksha Tagondavaru, those who have taken Christian Diksha is giving up Christianity. Those who have taken up Islamic Diksha, they are giving up these people. But our gurus, without taking Islamic Diksha, Christian Diksha, started defending Islam and Christianity. Without taking a Diksha, we start defending it. But those who have taken Diksha are giving up Islam and Christianity, having seen it as a nothing but dangerous nonsense, harmful. They are giving up, and our people are advising them to take Diksha. We are reducing Hindus into asuras. If you praise Islam and Christianity, if you praise all religions are same, what does it mean? You are pushing Hindus into asuratvam. You are pushing Hindus into asuratvam by calling all religions are same, or by putting Vedanta outside Hinduism. You are creating a terrible inferiority complex in Hindus by calling that I don't read Bhagavad Gita, or our yoga is outside Hinduism, or Vedanta is outside Hinduism. You are insulting, not only insulting, you are undermining, misrepresenting, and creating and making Hindus suffer. What strength they have, you are not helping them, you are making them to suffer further. By criticizing Hinduism indirectly. It is the Hinduism that has produced Upanishads. It is Hinduism that has produced Shankaracharya, Dattatreya, Ramana Maharshi, and all Ramakrishna, and all our Jnanis and Gurus. And you push all these Jnanis and Gurus outside Hinduism. And reduce Hinduism into a meaningless thing. This is a real perversion. Okay? The greatness which you are talking, yoga is great, that is Hindus. You put it outside Hinduism, yoga will not survive. You push Vedanta outside Hinduism, it can't live, I tell you. It won't live among Christianity, it won't live among Islam. Vedanta is produced by Hinduism, lives in Hinduism. As long as it is a part of Hinduism, it will live. Because it is Hindu. How can you talk of anything else? It is Hindu. It is like pushing my eyes and calling them as foreigners, not mine, my eyes. You take out the eyes out of me, neither eyes can live nor I can live. Eyes are inseparable part of me. Neither my eyes can live nor I can live. If you pluck out the eyes out of my body. Similarly, plucking Vedanta outside Hinduism and reducing Hinduism similar to Islam and Christianity is a great injustice our gurus are doing. All this because of terrible inferiority complex. And I think we have becoming the greatest slaves of foreign rule. By more studying Vedanta, by more talking like this, more we are becoming slaves. What we expect is our gurus to shed their slavery. Be bold Hindus. Bold Hindus, gurus of Hindus, defenders of Hindus. Shed your slavery. Becoming good Hindus, sincere Hindus, bold Hindus, defend Hinduism. More you defend, more you will be right. More you start telling all religions are same, more you are destroying Hinduism. More you push Vedanta and yoga outside Hinduism, more you destroy yoga, more you destroy Vedanta and Hinduism. Vedanta is inseparable from Hinduism. Yoga is inseparable from Hinduism. Okay, I think today I call it the day. Today is enough. We'll see some other day. Oh, it is only 46 minutes only. Not much I have spoken today, but it's okay. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Okay, from today onwards I may telecast Bhagavata. I'll say either today, because I need little preparation. I have to read, because to be able to explain I have to read Bhagavata, and Bhagavata also many places doesn't explain, and you go by some of the commentaries are terrible. Some of the commentaries are good, but some of the translations are very bad. They talk all religions are same, all this kind of nonsense. Then I have to filter, prepare. It takes some time. So today at least I'll try to put on Facebook and then record it today. All these days there were classes, but I was only reading out. I never recorded. I didn't record. Only I was holding Bhagavata classes, because I felt so discouraged seeing the audience sitting in front of me. Last night I got an idea. Forget my audience. I mean the direct audience who are in front of me, and I think I should think of the audience in the cell phone who are watching on the cell phone. I think keeping them in view I should speak, instead of speaking the people sitting in front of me, the fools in front of me. Keeping the people listening on the cell phone, I think I should talk to them. I think hereafter I will directly address cell phone alone. Bhagavata, directly I want to address the people on the cell phone, facing the cell phone only. I will teach Bhagavata from today onwards, and I will never look at those people, because they refuse to listen. They have got the same mindset. Anyway, today I think I hope to speak on phone Bhagavata. So in fact we finished in Bhagavata. We finished Rukmini Kalyanam and Samantaka Mani story. Also we have finished. We have to go to the next story now. And I hope to repeat all Rukmini Kalyanam, Samantaka Mani, and all that we have to repeat it. So because of, I think 1 week I have not put a telecast on cell phone. Now I hope to do again with explanation, with my explanation. Because there are many good points in that Samantaka Mani story. There are many things Hindus need to learn about Krishna's character, Krishna's nature. Bah, how beautiful it is. It's divine at the same time. There are most important things Hindus need to learn. In Rukmini's story also, and also in story means episode, and also in Samantaka Mani story, it's full of turnings, lot of turnings. But there you can see in and through all those turnings, the Krishna's character comes out best. But we have finished these 2 episodes. Again I have to restart from today with more detailed explanation. Anyway, I'll hope to do in the evening. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.